So are you thinking about purchasing a new home and you're just tired of dealing with the resale homes that are getting multiple offers and going for well over ask price, and are you now considering new construction? Well, this video is going to go over the top 7 reasons why and things to look into. Maybe purchase a new construction, whether it be multifamily like this townhome I'm in right now on Wilson Avenue in downtown Kelowna, or is it a new home in a new location, in a new neighborhood? I'm going to go over the top 7 things to look at, so stay tuned. All right, so I know that buying new homes is very, very stressful, and you don't know if you're making the right decision with the right builder, in the right location for you. Believe me, I've worked with a number of different buyers and sellers in new construction. So reach out, give me a call, shoot me a text, whatever works for you. I have your back and I'll help you through the process. Hey, and you know what? If you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos of living here in Kelowna. So buying a new construction home, whether it be multifamily or a single family home, is completely different than buying a previously owned home. So I'm going to go over the pros and the cons of buying either a pre-construction home or multifamily unit versus buying a pre-sale unit. So stay tuned. Maybe you like to have the new development where all the homes either look the same or they're all very similar and they really have the all the same feel in the neighborhood. Or maybe you're okay with having all homes of different sizes and different types of homes on your street. So those are things to look at when you're looking at locations, but also if you're looking at whether to buy a resale home or a new construction. So step 1 of purchasing a new construction versus a resale home is weighing the pros and the cons. So new homes in Kelowna, historically, if you're looking at single family residents, are historically on the outskirts of town. So you're going to be looking at maybe in Black Mountain or McKinley. So you're going to see a little bit additional commute time to it. But are you looking for maybe a more mature neighborhood with mature trees, or do you want to be close to the downtown center? So maybe if you're going to look for new construction, maybe you want to look for something similar to this, which is a multifamily townhouse that gives you great options. It's a downtown location. We have Knox Mountain behind there, and it's easy accessible. So step number 2 is research neighborhoods and also research the builders. So when you're buying in a new subdivision, or maybe you're just buying in a new build in an existing subdivision, maybe an older subdivision like the downtown area where we're seeing a lot of growth happening, you'll definitely want to make sure you're buying in the right area for what you need. So always think about it and do your research for the neighborhoods with a plan in mind. And what is your exit strategy? So always have your exit strategy in mind. Maybe you're a younger person and you're okay staying there for 5 years. Maybe 3 to 5 years is really your exit plan, potentially. Things can obviously change, and maybe you like it and you're going to stay there for 30 years. But if your plan is to stay there, settle down with your family, and find a neighborhood that will really kind of fit for you. Because when it comes down to selecting neighborhoods, moving sucks. Moving is expensive. So if you can find a neighborhood in your price range at the moment, then sometimes you can really benefit from doing that now, and then you don't have to worry about moving in every 5 years or 10 years until you get to that spot. So you can walk around the neighborhoods, do a driving tour just to find out what are the amenities like. So are there schools in that you're going to need to get into? Maybe there's certain catchments. Maybe you want your kids to be in a French immersion school. Maybe you want to be close to work. Maybe everybody has all these different situations why they choose the location. But real estate, rule number 1 of real estate is location, location, location. I'm sure you've heard it. My grandma used to say it, and it really comes down to it. So really dig down and find that location that's really going to match for you, at least for your plan. That's why if you always have your exit strategy in mind, just think about that. So if you're driving around all these neighborhoods and you're doing your research on the builders after you maybe talk to them, also get a list of past builds they've done. So after you talk to them, and go see the product. But just go a little bit further than just seeing the actual physical product. It's knock on the door. And this is what I, as a real estate agent, I will help you out with. We're going to knock on those doors and let's ask for feedback from those builders. From the homeowners that have purchased it. Are there any underlying factors? Are there still deficiencies that need to be worked through years after they've purchased the home? It's really just stuff to really focus on and know what you're getting into. And maybe it's okay, maybe it's on the cheaper end, but maybe if you're paying good money and you're expecting this quality product at the end of the day, make sure you're looking into it. And make sure you're talking to homeowners, people that have been through it, to get it right from them. Because there's a lot of people that are good salespeople, and they'll make you believe one thing over another, and just want to make sure you're getting the end product that you're expecting. Also, as you're looking at the homes there and doing the neighborhood tours, you're also going to want to see what is the neighborhood in transition. So are you going to be stuck in dust all the time for the next 5-10 years? Or is your house one of the ones that is mostly completed already, or the last ones to be completed? And are you just going to be able just to lay your sod and not have to worry about dust or contractors or jackhammering and hammering all the time? So if you're in a transitional neighborhood like the downtown core, I'm in a brand new build here, but we have 1940 homes across the street here that are yet to be torn down. There's a lot of transition, a lot of development happening here, and they're going to higher density here. So if you're to purchase one of these new builds, there's a good chance that there might be a home across the street that is going through the development and future. So that'll increase the dust. Step number 3, ask these questions. Know what's standard and know what is extra. So make sure that if the stove is included, so visit the showroom, see the showroom model, go to the stores, get a model. And he might not be able in this market with supply chain constraints be able to get physical models, but you can kind of get a sense of the actual quality. And normally with these builds, it's going to be equal or better quality of what you can expect if they can get that exact unit in. So it's just going to give you an idea. And maybe you really like cooking and maybe you want a gas stove. Talk to that as soon as possible in the process, just to see if you're getting the gas stove, what's expected. And maybe there's additional cost to be able to run the gas line, at least have it roughed in for you. And also with vehicles, also going to electric and with the movement to electric vehicles, check in and see if you have an electric vehicle and you're looking to have a charger set up in your home. Have that conversation early in the process. Just know what you have. And the earlier you have in the process, the more likelihood you're going to be successful in getting it done, and also done as quick as possible so they can run the proper lines ahead of time and avoid a lot of additional potential factors. Period. When you're also looking at it, if you need upgrades or if you're wanting upgrades, again, talk about it. And a lot of times the builders will do a cost plus improvement. So if you want to add, say, a walk-in shower, fully tiled, that would be an option for you. But it might be a little bit additional cost. And so just have that conversation, negotiate from the get-go, and just set expectations and be as specific as possible, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Step 4, as it's getting closer to completion, I would still recommend getting a home inspection done. A home's, there's situations where, nightmare situations where maybe a home wasn't actually insulated in the ceiling and they didn't realize it until later because they ended up getting a home inspection. But how often on new builds are people going to be going into these homes and getting a home inspection? So it's definitely a positive to really put some, you're spending all this money on a new product, you're getting a home inspection. The home inspectors can actually also help with the deficiencies. And when they can go through and make sure that everything seems to be at code, maybe the city passed something, maybe they're hiding something in a wall. The city might not see that when they're doing their final approvals and providing the occupancy permits. But that is where it's a great opportunity to get into there and see if, get a home inspector in there just to see if there's any red flags. You protect yourself before the closing. You can let your lawyers know, and maybe there's additional holdbacks that you need, because with every purchase, you can have the option for a holdbacks. And so that's one thing where you get into, once you get into the writing the contract side of things, that's going to be step number 5, is making sure the contracts are written properly for new construction, because there's all different contracts. Depends on the development. Everybody's going to be doing it differently. And so it's making sure as a home buyer, you're protected, because a lot of the contracts that are designed done by the developers or the builders, the lawyers. So they're heavily marketed between the builders. They're kind of leaning towards benefiting the builder versus benefiting the buyer. So make sure that you're reading these contracts and you know what you're in there, and always, always, always have the option for holdbacks and discuss it. Just so you make sure everything is kind of dealt with on a timely manner. And it comes into the due diligence period with reputation of other builders, that sort of thing, if they've come up. So that's where, if you do a lot of due diligence, you know where to focus your time and what to factor into the contract and what to weigh heavily over others. And step number 6, second to last step here, is read the market, because you're buying a new pre-sale home. Who knows when it's going to be completed, but plan accordingly. Are you buying at today's price, or are you buying at maybe the future price? So sometimes with new homes, you can deal with less competition, especially in this market where there's a lot of multiple offers. So buying new homes is a way to reduce the competition. You know what you're getting into and you know what you're paying for. But with supply chain constraints, those are also delaying the process quite a bit too as well. So there's a lot of number of different factors that play into it. But read the market. When is it completing, and what do you think the market's going to be doing at that time? What are expectations? Are you buying at the peak of the market where there's potential it could go down, and maybe when you're closing on it, you have to throw in extra money in to be able to complete on it because now it's not appraising? But also, sometimes with the pre-sale ones, it depends on the size of the build and how far out from completion it is. There's a lot of times where you can get it for a discounted rate. And so when it does go to complete, that if it's going to complete, say it's a brand new condo going up in downtown Kelowna, maybe that's 3 or 4 years out. Well, in the market in 3 or 4 years, potentially, good chances based on historic, will be going up. And so you can net to make sure that you'd be able to pull the equity out. But if you're buying something that's maybe going to be completed in 6 months, maybe if the market goes down slightly, you might need to make sure you just have a little bit extra cash on hand and to be able to put to it and to help you close. Last step number 7 is you close the deal. So you go, make sure you're doing walkthroughs before, maybe 2 weeks before, 30 days before. Everybody's going to be doing it differently. And the builder developers will have a time when they want you to go through, do the deficiency walkthroughs. But you go in through there, make sure you're being hard. Always be hard on it, because rather be hard on the deficiency walkthrough versus light, just to make sure that you're getting an end product, and they don't think they're going to let you, maybe they're just going to walk away and leave you with some of these other deficiencies because you weren't hard on them, on especially the little things, the little nitpicky things that you might think you're nitpicky. Oftentimes just go as hard as you can on these ones. And it's not a fun experience by any means, and it's always tough. I know a lot of people don't want to be the one to do it, but make sure, just speaking from experience with pre-builds, you always want to err on the harder side. All right, so there you have it. There's the top 7 reasons for new pre-construction homes. I'm on the top of a new property, multifamily unit on the rooftop patio here in downtown Kelowna, and it doesn't get much better than this location, but there's a lot of pros and cons with it. So reach out if you do have any questions. As having a lot of experience in representing sellers and buyers in this market with new construction, definitely a lot of things to look at, and let's discuss certain situations. So if you do have any questions, especially with new construction, reach out, give me a call. This is what we do, and I got your back.